I am super excited to introduce you to Adair Hawkins, Mayor of Carnation, Washington. She is known for her dedication in fostering community engagement and sustainability and sustainable growth, and that's what we're here to do. She has a background in public service and a passion for environmental stewardship. Adair works tirelessly to ensure that Carnation maintains its small town charm and also addresses the needs of a growing population. Her leadership has focused on enhancing local infrastructure, supporting small businesses, promoting environmental initiatives, and Adair also advocates for collaboration among rural communities and urban areas to create innovative solutions for regional challenges. She's excited to bring her experience and insights to open the paths at the University of Washington, where she is going to contribute to our discussion of sustainable development and inclusive community planning. Please help me by welcoming Adair Hawkins. Put this here.
Hi, I'm Adair Hawkins. I'm here to hopefully inspire everyone here to know that the best thing you can do to solve multimodal problems is to tell your story. Everyone in this room is selfless. You took time out of your busy lives and days just to help others. And every problem is so complicated. And in my 5 years on council and as mayor, the only time I've ever seen anything happen is when people come and tell their story. Your heart, your life is what matters. How I got into this, because I'm very unqualified, is I am a mom and a dental hygienist. My husband and I lived in a small apartment in Renton with our 4 kids. My baby slept in a closet. I can be happy anywhere. And we Googled, where can we live that's close to Redmond that's cheap? And we came up with Carnation, Washington. So we moved with our 4 little boys, and we fell in love. We've never lived in a small town. And it was beautiful, and there were bears and salmon, and it was clean. But there weren't sidewalks, and there were holes in all the roads. And I have a wonderful kid who lost oxygen to the brain during the pregnancy, and he is a gift. His name's Griff. Griff does not recognize faces. Griff does not know where to walk unless there is a sidewalk. Griff only wears cat shirts and only talks about cats. So how things would go is if he saw a cat running, he would run after the cat into the street unless there was a sidewalk. And I thought, okay, what can I do? So I started listening to council meetings the day after while doing laundry because I didn't have time to go to a council meeting. I need to put the kids to bed at 7. My husband's a firefighter. He's gone half the time. And then I started calling the city. I thought, okay, I wonder how we solve these things. So I would see something on Facebook like, why is there new park equipment when there's still potholes in the road? And I thought, that's a good question. So I'd call the city treasurer. I said, hi, can you help me better understand this? And she said, thanks for asking. King County voters want to have a parks levy, so we can only use the money for that and not potholes. And I thought, oh, no one's being mean. There's no big conspiracy. No one's misusing funds. We just have pots of money in different places. So how can I help? So I decided to run for an election. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought the term was 2 years. Turns out it's 4. Whoopsies. That was awkward. Then I ran for another one because I want to have a roundabout. Now, one thing that's really important to know is that what moves policy forward is you. Really, it's you. There's statistics and there's data. But it's when someone takes time and actually comes to a meeting, either online or in person, states their name and address, and just says what's going on. So problems that we've personally solved that we're still working on it is, for example, sidewalks. It wasn't until people came to meetings and started saying, I can't walk from A to B. This is in disrepair. Right now there are big gaps that we started working on it. Because believe it or not, in Carnation, there was an anti-sidewalk coalition I know, it's crazy. They come to meetings, they're very upset because things might change and they don't want impermeable surfaces. But when someone in a wheelchair comes and says, this is important, the other council members listened. Because sometimes people that show up at meetings are people that do have the time and the energy. Who I would really like to hear from are the parents or people who are older people with different life experiences. They're not always the loudest, but they see holes that we can solve together. Another thing that we're trying to do in Carnation is we're trying really hard to partner with nonprofits to have affordable housing. There are gaps. Habitat for Humanity had property, they bought the property, they were going to build houses, and then our Metro bus was taken away from the central Snoqualmie Valley to go to Redmond Light Rail. This was 2008, it was many years ago before I was on council. So how do we solve housing? Well, you have to have transportation. So that includes Metro, that includes the city, that includes the county, that includes taxation districts. The other thing too is that my council, until about 2 years ago, believed that if there was a busing, poor people would come and steal. That's a direct quote. How this changed is a constituent came and she just told her story. She's legally blind, she can't drive, and she needed to go to urgent care, and there's no way to get there. So she spent $200. Them just on an Uber, just the council seeing her and putting a face to a problem, all of a sudden it was important. Your story and how you guys are and who you are, hold on, get some water, is the most important thing to solve problems, because nothing is just easy. Until I was in government, I didn't know that everyone had their 2-year budgets. Washington State, King County Parks, the city, the highway department. No one's being mean, but no one's 2-year budgets ever line up. The only way I've ever seen these problems solved is when people come and just talk, either on a parks board or just even going to coffee with a council member. Your voice matters. Who you are is your greatest asset. And I just want everyone to know that what they say does make a difference. The other thing that's really big where we live is our school district is the second largest as far as square mileage in the whole state. The high school is 12 miles away from my home. There's no way to get there unless you have a car. So a problem that's very multimodal that we're trying to fix is there's only one. So my district is Carnation, unincorporated King County, Duval. The only bus stop that our little bus stops at is called Snoqualmie Valley Transportation. Side note, is funded by the Snoqualmie tribe. Shout out, they're amazing. DOT and WSDOT is to get right now the bus stop is there's only one. It's 2.6 miles away from the high school. It's at 700-foot elevation. So the only kids, parents, community members that can take part in the free counseling, the knitting club, the wrestling club, are people that can drive. So my example is my son wanted to do wrestling. School got over at 2, wrestling started at 5. My husband's gone on his shift. I work 12-hour shifts. My kid would wait till 9 p.m. because there was no way to get back and forth. We tried carpools, we tried all sorts of things. The easiest answer is just to get a second bus stop. But to do that, believe it or not, costs $10,000 a month because they have to reroute the whole bus. You have to hire more bus drivers. None of these things are easy, but it's now a goal because people came to council meetings and talked about it. Another huge inequity that we're trying to solve together is there's this really low-cost option to go to college, Bellevue College, through our district, if you can get there. Believe it or not, the only kids that can get there have the capability as far as finances, mobility, they can drive, their parents can drive. No one's in a wheelchair. So right now, the statistics say, well, we don't need to get any mobility from Carnation to Bellevue College, which would just be, by the way, Metro, shout out, would just be our bus back from Carnation to Metro, to the light rail station in Redmond. Right now, our statistics show that it's not needed. It actually is needed, but the only kids that can go live in Duval because it's a higher social economic status city, and they have more capabilities. So how do we solve things? It's not always data, it's you guys, it's telling your story. Right now, I'd really like to not only have you guys speak out, but encourage people to run for elections that are different than others. We have 2 new council members that live in multi-generational households, and it's incredible. They're using parks in different ways with strollers and walkers. They're seeing holes in our system. Your life experience and where you come from really matters, and it makes a big difference. Please know when you go, everything will be 50-50. Our lives are going to be happy, they're going to be sad. My experience has been half anxiety, half joy. It's not all good all the time, but it does matter. Just having the bravery to be here today, to be able to listen to others, to take their feedback, it makes such a difference. I'm totally unqualified to do this. I cannot say that enough. I'm just a mom who wants people to have better lives. My real goal is, I know right now we have a pandemic of loneliness. So I have an unpopular belief that I don't think people do what's best, they do what's easiest. So it's my job to make it easy for people to get out. How do we make it so every park connects with every pathway? Just little things like I need a crosswalk that goes across the highway that goes from the low-income senior housing to the fire station to get their blood pressure tested. How do we do these little things that improve lives? I want people to be able to just run into each other in the post office. When we isolate people or we make it so inequitable that they can't even go to Kindness Club or therapy or wrestling at the high school, or in the city, they can't even get to the post office because all around it is gravel and it floods. I'm not doing my job. But the only reason I know about these things is because others speak up. So if you're ever willing to be brave enough, please don't doubt yourselves. Just tell your story. It makes a big difference. Thank you, everyone. Are there any questions about my unqualifications to be mayor and how important you guys are? Oh, Doreen.
I need a mic. I mean, I have a good outdoor voice, but people on Zoom still need to hear me. Tell me more about roundabouts, because blind people hate them. I mean, that would be a sweeping generalization, and there are different things different jurisdictions have done to make them manageable for blind people. But tell me what the ones you were hoping, or you were talking about in the Carnation area, what you were hoping they do. And what I want to do is help figure out whether there's things that could make it friendlier, because I don't think I've ever been to Carnation, and if I were to go, I would probably go on some like pumpkin picking trip or something, and so I wouldn't necessarily know the local infrastructure. And that's why I really appreciate you just coming and telling your story. And I mean, I love Snoqualmie Valley Transit. So anyway, but
Me too.
Talk to me a little bit about roundabouts.
Thank you for bringing up my favorite subject in the world. So, multimodal problems. This is the entire reason I ran for a second election, and now people are coming to council meetings and calling me a Nazi. I'm not sure how it relates to a roundabout, but it is hilarious. What is currently happening is we have an intersection that's actually outside my jurisdiction. It's on a King County road, unincorporated King County road, and a state highway, 203 and Toll Hill Road, right by Rimlingers. This intersection is more dangerous statistically than the most dangerous intersection in Seattle, which is by Harborview Hospital. When we look at cars and pedestrians, people die there, they get hurt there. The
Located next to the trauma center, yes.
Yes, exactly. So what's been going on is that it's not actually in our jurisdiction. So I go to Olympia a lot. I call people a lot. I talk to people a lot because we need to have a way that people can get safely around this area. There are a couple issues. Number one, the state is in deficit right now for transportation dollars. But where, even with a deficit, we're moving things along are relationships. To actually have constituents go down, Rimlinger Farms, they're lovely people. They're now willing to give all the land for free, to have this private-public partnership. And how this relates not only to just safety is every city has growth targets where we need a zone for more housing because there's not enough. There's a reason people are unhoused. And personally, in Carnation, our number one growing demographic are people over 65 years old. There are a lot of people who are older, medically fragile, that need housing. So how do we do that? Well, we actually have to get them safely in and out of the city. There's only one exit in, one exit out. So this is a multimodal problem. We have King County, we have state, we have private entities, we have the city and constituents. I'd be fine with a light too, but I guess that's more expensive. So we're going with it. So for a long time, it wasn't a goal, and now it has been a goal for 3 years. And the only way that we have had any luck are relationships and showing up. That's it. There are, I don't know, thousands of places that need to be fixed. But why we are at top of mind is because of you guys. When people speak up and just tell their story, because to say, this is my experience, how can I help fix it? It is noticed. Thanks, Doreen. Anyone else? Thanks, guys.
I just wanted to say something. Just as a mom, sorry. I guess I just want to say, as a mom, you are incredibly qualified. I don't think that I think that sometimes we forget that there are lots of things outside of traditional ways that we think about qualifications and what people do and what people's backgrounds are. And just like, I guess I just wanted to say, as a fellow mother, like I don't think that that makes you unqualified for the work that you're doing. And I think that I just wanted to share that and make sure that we all understand that. But yeah, I think I'm happy to hear that you asked about roundabouts, because yes, they are an incredibly controversial topic.
And sidewalks.
And sidewalks. So yeah, I know, I'm sure that you all are already aware of the funding opportunities through WashDOT for active transportation, but I would encourage you, I'm happy to talk about it with you later, if you like.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please. And thank you for saying, because who we are just, anyone in this room is willing to show up today has a story. And I don't want anyone to ever think that doesn't matter, because that has been the only thing I've ever seen change policy, our human experiences. I see a hand up over there.
Hi, there's a question from Zoom. Joe Kunzler asks, I hope I got their name right. What public input do you think works the best?
What the public what? I'm sorry.
What public input? I'm guessing it's some form of feedback mechanism that they want to know about that works the best.
The best thing anyone can do is actually come to a meeting and state their name and address and speak for 3 minutes. We also have coffee with council. I have a lot, everyone knows where I live. People just come over to my house a lot. We go on the trampoline. I have a foosball table. We have a good time. But really the best way is to show up at a meeting, not write a letter. Because to hear someone's experience firsthand and hear their story changes minds and changes hearts.